5/9 minus 1/6. We need a common denominator. 5/9 minus 1/6. Common denominator is 18. So I have 10/18 minus 3/18. All right, which gives me 7/18. Now, really, I really wish you would give yourself a check if you got it right. Put a star if you get it wrong. That way you can go back and look over it. That's what you're supposed to be doing. All right? Now, number 4. Again, 7/8 plus 1/10. Common denominator, 40. So this becomes 35 out of 40 plus 4 out of 40 gives me 39 out of 40. Hopefully you're 2 for 2. There's no need for a celebration. You're supposed to be able to add fractions.
Wait, what's the answer?
39 over 40. All right. Now moving forward.
I don't understand that.
Good. What part? Look up there and see.
I just had the.
Yes.
I just had the.
Okay, so you're good now, right?
Yeah.
Double check it. Make yourself a note. That's how you get smarter. All right, look up. Yes, Jack. What?
I just did.
Now here, before I want you to listen because I think you're asking me a good question. Here, listen to me. Your job is to look at the numbers that are on the board and the numbers that are on your paper. Find the ones that are different, and then see why yours is wrong and mine is correct.
So instead of changing the bottom number to 40, I changed mine to 80, and then 70 plus 10, so I got 80 over 80. Huh?
Listen, stop interrupting. Your job, if you got 39 over 40, is go to the next problem. All right? No reason to talk. Jack, I don't want 80. I want what? 40. So erase the 80 because it's incorrect. Change it to 40 and see if it works out for you now. All right? You made an error in some calculation. You could get the same answer if you did 80, but you made a mistake with your calculation. All right? 40 is the common denominator.
Oh, that's why. It's because on 8 I multiplied by.
That's okay. No, it's all right. Listen, we got it. We don't need an explanation. All right, next. Here we go. 6. Now, 6 is interesting because there's 3. All right, so what we want to do now is we want to make sure we get a common denominator with all 3. 5/6 minus 7 over 8 plus 11 over 12. All right, common denominator is 24. All right, so this becomes 20 over 24 minus 21 over 24 plus 22 over 24. Now, does it really matter how you add them or subtract them? No. To me, the easiest thing to do was to say, hey, 22 minus 21 is 1. 1 plus 20 is what? 21. So you should have down there 21 over 24 and then reduced by 3, which gives me 7 over 8. Now, Sienna, same thing goes with you with the other boys. Look up there on the board and see what's different. Now, number 1, I'm looking across, and some of you guys are writing vertically, or you're writing horizontally. That's part of the problem, honestly. You should be writing like I'm doing it. I know some of you are like, well, I can do it. Yes, you can do it. It's going to get harder. Learning to write vertically when you're doing fractions will save you a bunch of time and a bunch of problems and a bunch of headaches. I promise you. All right? Write vertically. All right? It makes life easy, simple, I promise. These are just the easy ones. Now what? Look up there on the board, look at 5/6, and compare your 5/6 with my 20 over 24, same with 7/8 and 21 over 24 and 11 over 12. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to do. All right, I want you to look on your paper and compare it with mine and show me where you made a mistake. And if you can't see the mistake, you say, hey, why do I have something and you have 20? Why do I have 21 and you have something different? That's what we're looking for. I don't care how you did it. I'm trying to help you with your mistakes.
I got 23.
Man, you're not hearing me. If you got 23, that probably means what?
That I messed up.
Yes. Find out where you messed up. Look at the numbers on the board. It's an easy thing. That's why I love math. There's a right answer. And if you got a wrong answer, you just have to find your mistake. That makes you great. What's the problem? Do you have those numbers?
Yeah, I have all these numbers.
So that just...
20 minus 21, and I got 1.
That's the problem. Right there. That's the problem. What's 20 minus 21?
20 minus 21 is 1.
Nope, it's not.
Oh, negative 1.
There you go. There's your mistake. Did you find your mistake?
Yeah.
Good. I'm proud of you. I really am. I don't need to tell you how to do it. That's why it's up there on the board. You need to learn to find your mistake. If you can't find it, that's where I jump in. All right? I don't want to hear how you did it wrong. All right, let's check out 8 now. 4 3/10 plus 5 over 6. Common denominator, 30. All right? So I changed that to 4 9/30 plus 25/30. Now when I'm adding, I get 4 and 34 over 40. Or I'm sorry, 30. Then what I try to tell kids is I always reduce the fraction first. So I'm going to change that to 4 and 17 over 15. Somebody have an issue with that?
I did the same
Right?
thing as I did on number 6.
Yes. And now 4 and 17 over 15. That's the same as 5 and 2 over 15. Now, if you don't know it, now's the time. Let me go through it.
I don't get how it changes to 5.
Okay, so look right here. What you have to understand is how many times does 15 go into 17?
Once.
1 whole. And then there's 2 left over. So then it's this 4 and this 1 made that 5.
Oh.
Okay, good,
Okay.
good.
That makes
All right, here we go. Number 10.
Wait,
What?
I didn't finish writing it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, now, number 10, I want eyes up. This is just mental math, in my opinion. It's just mental math. You should be able to look at that and just say, hey, I know this is the answer.
Okay.
All right, I want everybody to put your eyes up so I can talk to you, and I'm going to give you some more examples. This answer, everybody, without even doing much thought, you should be able to look at that and say, that's just -2 and 1/6. You should be able to just look at that and say, that's -2 and 1/6. I'm going to show you how, because some of you act as if that's just amazing. All right? Now, remember, are we adding or subtracting? We are definitely subtracting. And is our answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. So now, please watch. All right? This is how I think you should understand it. There are 3, right? And you eat 5/6 of a pizza. That means I ate all but this 1 slice that's left. So that's what? 2 and 1/6. That's what that is. All right, now I'm going to ask you another question. Put your hand down. What if I said this, guys? Look up. Everybody look up. I want you to be able to tell me the answer quickly. Xavier, are you up? Looking up? Come on, stop writing. This is more important. I don't understand why people don't see this. If I said, what is 5 minus 1/3? Everybody should be able to look at that and say that's obviously 4 and 2/3. You should be able to just say that's 4 and 2/3. Right? You should just be able to say that. If you had 5 pizzas and you eat 1/3 of one, you have 4 holes left and 2/3 of a pizza.
Oh.
That's all that means. So if I said this, just to make sure you're paying attention, if I said 7 minus, let's say I said 3 out of 11. 7 minus 3/11. Connor.
That would be 6 and 8 over 11.
That's exactly what I want from everybody. You should be able to just say that. I don't understand why people don't know that. I'll tell you why. They don't understand numbers. That's what I'm trying to show you guys. If you understand numbers, isn't that just easy? That's easy. Very easy. What?
How would you get over the 8 over 11?
Because this is how many pieces there are. This is how many you ate.
Oh,
So there's 11 slices and you ate what?
3.
So there's how many left?
There's 8.
8. You agree with me? And this just tells you how many pizzas you have. 4, 5, 6, 7. And you came along and you ate 3 out of 11 slices. So there's no hole left. There's just part of a pizza left. That's what I'm not understanding. All right, now I'm going to write something else up here. And I'm going to see, man, and like I said, I don't understand why people don't know this. I'm going to write something else. You see if you know this. Connor, up here. What is 2 plus 3/4? What is that? No waiting. What is it? 2 3/4. I don't understand why people are asking me these questions. 2 plus 3/4 is 2 3/4. But people don't understand the connection. This right here, this fraction, and this whole number right here are bound together with what operation? Addition. That's exactly right. So now when you see 2 3/4, you know that's the same as 2 plus 3/4. Now, something really hard, really crazy hard. Look up. -5 minus 7/8. What is that? Jack?
5 and 7 8.
No.
-4 and 1.
No.
-5 and 7 8.
Yes, -5 and 7/8. All right? -5 and 7/8. Jack, just slide over to your desk over, please.
Oh,
I'm watching you all the time. Slide your desk all the way over, all the way out of the way. Right now. Closer to where the phone is, all the way over. All right, so now, here's what we got. These two together. All right, you see what I mean? Now, the value doesn't change to positive, right? It's just -5 and -7/8 is -5 and 7/8. Everybody should know that. So this, if I pull this apart right here, this is where you're supposed to be listening. If I pull this part right here, what is that 7/8? Positive or negative? Negative. Of course it's negative because you were listening. Just like if I said -3 4/5. That's the same as what, Connor? -3 and also the fraction is what? -4/5. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right, hopefully that made a little better sense for some of you. Good. You got a question? All right. Here we go. So back to action here. 12. Right, are we adding or are we subtracting?
You skip.
Adding.
We're adding. What did I skip?
Nothing. I looked over because it was
All right,
not working.
12. We're doing number 12. All right, so here we go. Negative 2 1/5 minus 9 2/3. All right, common denominator is 15. So I want everybody to write negative 2 3/15 minus 9 10/15. Now again, we've already established we're adding. So that would be negative 11 13/15. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right, let's continue on. 14. Are we adding or subtracting? Subtracting. I'm telling you, always put the larger whole number on top. It makes life easy. All right, so here we go. 5 3/4, which was negative, plus 1 5/6. Common denominator is 12. So negative 5 9/12 plus 1 10/12.
So I put the 1 on the top back.
Yep, if you put the 1 on top by accident, it creates a headache. All right? Did everybody agree we were subtracting here, right? So now the question is, do I have to borrow?
Yes.
You must borrow because I can't do 9 minus 10. So I have to borrow. What?
Oh, wait, never mind.
All right, the 5 becomes a what? 4. The 9 becomes a
21.
21. Beautiful. Does anybody have any questions with that? And now, what's 21 minus 10?
11.
11/12, and 4 minus 1? 3. And don't forget it's negative. All right, that if you understand that, then you got it all, and you're in good shape. Just simple as that. All right, I don't think I can make it harder. All right, the borrowing is always what messes kids up. And if you just remember the rule, put the largest whole number on top, then it's easy to determine whether or not you're borrowing or not. What?
Doing it like vertical, then you just put the largest whole number in front.
All right, here we go. 16. All right, obviously we're adding these, so it doesn't matter. 3 7/8 plus 9 1/10. Common denominator is 40, so this is going to be 35 over 40 plus 9 4 over 40. Is everybody okay with that? And then we have, thank you, 12
39 or 40.
39 over 40, or 39/40. Thank you very much. All right, you should be feeling pretty good now. Today's a good second day. Hopefully you feel better about it. All right, let's knock out 18 here. Still adding. All right, so here we go. 7 2/3 plus 11 5/6. Common denominator, 7 4/6, right?
Yeah.
Plus 11 5/6. Is that right?
Okay.
Then you add it together and get
18
18 9 over 6. And then, of course, we reduce that to less 18 3/2. You can't have a mixed with an improper, so you change it to
19 and a half.
19 1/2. All right, now if you got that right, that just means you know how to convert from your mixed with your whole number, all right, and get the proper mixed fraction.
So I just went from 18 9/10 to 19 and a half. Do I have to see that middle part?
Of course, I don't care. Here we go, 20. All right. Adding or subtracting?
Subtracting.
Adding or subtracting? Adding, because they're both negative. All right, because they're both negative. All right, negative 8 1/5 minus 9 3/4. Common denominator is 20. Negative 8 4/20 minus 9 15/20, which means we have negative 17 19/20. You good? All right. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. A couple more to go.
I have a question.
Good. Come on.
Um,
Now, this is what I think you're doing really smart right now. You're looking at your work and looking at my work and see where there's a difference. And then you tell me where you see a difference and I'll explain.
I did the same,
Okay?
just not the whole. Wait. Oh, I subtracted.
Good. You feel good now?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. See? Find your mistakes. That's the most important thing. Sorry. If you don't mind, you could run to Miss Linda and grab a couple boxes. Thank you, Connor. But I want you to hurry back because I want you to be here. You hear me?
Yeah.
Hurry. Double time. All right, here we go. 22. Again, adding or subtracting? Adding. So here we go. Negative 9 5/6 minus 7 2/5. Again, common denominator is 30. Negative 9 25 over 30 minus 7 12 over 30. Again, we've established we're adding. So
It's negative 16 and 36 over 30.
negative
Oh,
16.
37.
Is that right? 37. You're all right, man. You're okay.
I got it wrong.
37 over 30.
I'm gonna fix all this.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a whole number.
Yeah, we're not done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can tell me the final answer. What is it?
I did 17 and 7.
That's exactly right. Negative 17 and 7/30. Are we okay with that? All right, like I said, I feel like it's better. Right? This is actually very difficult for most kids. All right, here we go. 24. Again, adding or subtracting? Adding or subtracting?
Adding.
Adding. Uh-oh. I don't know what I was doing here. 6 5/3. So I want to change this instead of 6 5/3, right? We can just make that what? 7 and what?
7 and 2.
Yeah, 7 2/3. All right, that was kind of a typo on my part. 7 and yeah, I'm okay with that. Yep, that's okay. Thank you. Just put it in the back somewhere. I hope it doesn't matter. I go through lots of tissues. All right, everybody okay with that, right? Don't be fooled by that. All right.
So
now I have to change
Yeah, so now we have negative 9 and 11 over 21 minus 7 and 14 over 21. It's not really that big a deal. If you didn't, all right. Now, negative 16 and, is that right? 25 over 21?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that ends up being,
17 and 4 over 21.
yep, negative 17 and 4 over 21.
It's okay if you did it. I just don't get it.
If you got the right answer, I don't care. Listen, the problem some of you are going to have is when it gets harder, you just have to be careful, right? What?
I just don't get it.
All right, so you just, how many times does 21 go into 25?
Once.
1, with how many left over? Right? 21,
Oh,
25 minus 21 is 4.
okay.
Right, then you just take that 1 and And you add it to the 16. All right, here we go. 26. Are we adding or are we subtracting? Subtracting. Here we go. So I have 2 and 5/6 minus 1 and 11 over 15. All right. Common denominator again is 30. So that'd be 2 and 25/30 minus 1 and 22/30. So your final answer here is 1 and 3 over 30.
And then reduce it to 110.
1 and 110. Perfect.
So this is pretty much the test coming up.
Monday.
We're going to have adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. All right, here we go. 3 and 5/8 minus 2 and 7/8.
Well, we have the same thing.
So now we have to borrow. Now you're borrowing, right? So we're going to take 3 becomes a 2. The 5 becomes a 13. Good job, guys. And then when I subtract, I get 6 over 8, which reduces to 3 over 4. Oh, not doing that. 26 for a quick second for you. Yes. What are you looking at?
I'm writing it down your way.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a good idea. All right. Here we go. 30. Now, again, listen here, guys. In my opinion, all right, this one could be the tricky one. All right, but if you're careful, all right, what I would like for you to do is let's just go ahead and add the positives together first. And then we'll subtract the what? We'll subtract the negative. All right, I think that's the best way to do this. All right, so here we go. I've got 6 and 7/8 plus 4 and 1/2, which means I have 6 and 7/8 plus 4 and 4/8, which means I have 10 and 11 over 8. And that's the same as 11 and 3/8. Thank you. Minus 3 and 1/4. Everybody see that? And then 11 and 3/8 minus 3 and 2/8, which gives me 8 and 1/8. 8 and 1/8.
I'm assuming the odds 2 minutes.
Oh, Mr. Shaw, keep on rambling on until the bell rings.
Do you want us to do any odds?
Wow, some of you guys that have been listening, odds are homework, all right? And then I'm posting the answers right now just to give you a little bit of help if you need it.